Hello everyone, welcome to this model Introduction to R. This is Dr. K. Kalaiarasi, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Mathematics, Kavai College for Women, Trichy. Now let us consider functions in R. Easy to create our own functions in R. And as tasks become complex, it is good idea to organize code into functions that perform defined tasks. In R, it is a good practice to give default values to function arguments. And how we can define function definitions. So arguments can be assigned default values, and return value is a last evaluated expression, or it can be set explicitly with a return statement. Next, we can define the functions in this manner, and we can print the arguments for a function using arguments command. And next, let us print the contents of the function by typing only its name without the parentheses. And next, let us consider debugging functions. So toggle debugging for a function with a debug or undebug command. With the debugging enabled or steps through function line by line, use print to inspect variables along the way, press to enter, proceed the next line. Next, let us consider the different types of variables: numbers, vectors, data frames, list, etc. Next, what is the control program execution? So under the two types we can discuss. One is like a grouping expression with parentheses, and another one is like a controlling loop execution. And next, the third one is create functions and exit functions. So set argument names and set default argument name values. Next, what is the use of R functions? So next, what is the random generation in R? So in contrast to many C implementations, R generates pretty good random numbers. Set.seed of seed can be used to select a specific sequence of random variables, and we can consider like a sample of x comma size comma replay is equal to false. So it generates a sample of size elements from x, and x is a single number and sample is from 1 is to x. Next, let us consider what is a random generation. So we can use various commands for under this. Next, how we can take help from R system. So R has a built-in help system with useful information and examples. So help provides a general help. Help plot will explain the plot function. Help.search will search for the topics that include the word histogram, and example of plot will provide examples for the plot function. Next, let us consider what are the input and output statements. We can use the print or cat to generate output inside functions. Use source file to read input from the function. Next, what is the basic utility functions? Length, mean, median, range, unique, summary, difference, and REV, reverses elements. These are the basic utility functions. Next, let us consider how we can manage our workspace. As we generate functions and variables, these are added to your current workspace. For example, ls to list workspace contents and rm to delete variables or functions. When we quit, we have to use Q function. You can save the current workspace for later use. Next, let us consider what are the computer graphics. So graphics are important for conveying important features of the data. So they can be used to examine marginal distributions, relationship between variables, summary of very large data. So important complements to many statistical and computational techniques. Next, let us consider some examples data. So height, weight, waist circumference, hip circumference, systolic blood pressure, diastolic blood pressure, like that. So this is the data file what we have taken, and how we can read the data. So this is the command we can use: dataset read.table. Next, let us consider graphics in R. So plot is the main graphing function. Automatically produces simple plots for vectors, functions, or data frames. So many useful customization options are available. Next, how we can plot a vector. So plot height for each observation. So plot of data set as height. Next, we can consider how we can plotting a vector using the command. Next, let us consider common parameters for plot. So specifying labels and specifying range limits. Next, we can consider a properly labeled plot. So this is the plot, we can use it. Next, plotting two vectors. So we can use the command plot can pair elements from two vectors to produce xy coordinates. Next, plot and pairs can also produce composite plots and pair all the values and the data frame. And how to plot the two vectors. So this is the diagram we have shown. Next, let us consider plotting two vectors. And one more thing, plotting contents. Next, plotting contents of the data. Next, let us consider how we can draw the histogram. So first we generate by the histo function, and then parameter breaks is the key. So it specifies the number of categories to plot, or the specifies the breakpoints for each category, and xlab, ylab, xlim, yslim, or the options work as expect. Next, this is the histogram type, and change the breaks, And next one is like a box plot. So here under that, generated by the box plot function, so it draws plot summarizing median, quartiles and outliers like that. And next we can consider a symbol of the box plot. Next let us consider the customizing plot. Next we can consider like a drawing on your plotter. So here actually we have to use points of x comma y, lines of x comma y. So for freehand drawing we can use polygon and rectangle. And next how to text drawing. So two commonly used functions, one is like a text, another one is like mtext. These two functions can print mathematical expressions created with expression. Next let us consider how we can plot two data series, and next we consider adding a label inside the plot, how we can draw. So this is a diagram representation. Next let us consider the symbolic math example from the demo plot math, we can use it. Next we consider what is the further customization. So the par function, it can be changed defaults for the graphic parameters affecting subsequent calls to plot and friends. So next the parameter include chess, mix, pca, xlog, ylog, or all like a selective logarithm axis scaling. Next let us consider the multiple plots on a page. So set the mfro or mfcall options take two-dimensional vector as an argument. The first value specifies the number of rows and the second specifies the number of columns. The two options differ in the order individual plots are printed. Next let us consider how to plot the multiple histograms. So this is a command we can use. I hope you have understood this module. Thank you for watching.